Hello, I'm Sue Kirkham from Home Miniatures, and today we're going to demonstrate how to make some lemon meringue pies for your doll's house. So if we just run through the tools and ingredients you're going to need. First of all, if you've got perhaps a ceramic tile that you can make on and also use it to bake in the oven. Now, first of all, you're going to need some pastry mix, which is really simple. So depending on the polymer clay that you're using, I'm particularly using Fimo here, you just want to basically create this pastry colour to use for the base of your lemon meringue pies. So I've got here 3 parts translucent clay, 1 part white, and we just got a little bit of ochre as well, just to give it a little bit of pastry colour. Now, either with a Sugarcraft roller or something we use quite often at home, a pasta press, what we want to do is actually create the pastry colour just by running that through the roller quite a few times to blend and also make the clay really malleable. And also, the other thing that it does is give you like a uniform thickness as well as the clay like we've got here. So that's great for when we're cutting out the bases. So to cut out the bases, we just want to get a simple metal cutter, and we want one that's around the diameter of a pie tin that you're going to be using. Now, if you don't want to use a pie tin, then obviously, because we're baking in the oven and we're not using too high temperatures, then a ceramic plate would be just as fine to bake on. But for this purpose, we're going to use a little metal tin. And we can see we've got a cutter that's going to work fine for us. So all we're going to do is just basically cut out a base for our pie tin. And I'm just going to take it off with my scalpel and pop it into the tin. And just by either using a thumb or finger, we want to just press it gently so that we've got the indentation for the lemon meringue pie mixture to go in. And what we're going to do now is, once you've done perhaps either one, or if you want to do quite a few at this point, then just bake the base so you've got those already made. Now, once they are made, which we've got some here ready to go, because the lemon meringue project just needs to be done in a couple of stages, and the next one is to add the lemon meringue base. Now, we've got a little prep board here just to show you that we've used one, and we can see that with the base we want to create a lemon meringue colour, and all we need for this is some liquid Fimo gel, which is really easy to get a hold of. And what we're going to do is, by using some yellow oil paints, so just squeezing a little bit of yellow oil paints into a palette, as I've got here. But just move these out the way. There we go. I'm just going to add it straight into the yellow. And then either with a polymer clay tool or just a glue spreader, we're just going to mix that in. Now, all we want to do is by mixing the liquid Fimo and the oil paints, is quite a uniform colour. And we need a little bit because we want to get some depth in the lemon meringue so that when we open and cut at the end in our scene, then it looks more realistic. So once that's well mixed, perhaps a little bit more than that, and you can make it either a little bit more fluid by adding more of the liquid gel or more paint if you prefer. We're just going to pop it in the middle of the cooked base, the base of the pastry. And another thing you could always use perhaps is we'll just use a cocktail stick just to stir it round. Now, when it's finished and you've put all your liquid gel coloured with the oil colour into the base, we're going to put that to one side and cook it at the Fimo gel recommended temperature until it ends up looking like the one here in our little prep board. So I'll just put this to one side. Now, the next stage of doing the lemon meringue, which is really simple, and it includes something perhaps you've got lying around, is we can either use an air drying clay mix, like a cream mix, which is really simple to use, or, to be honest, something which is a little bit cheaper and perhaps more to hand would be just like a simple bathroom sealant or a caulk. And all we've done with that is I've just squirted some of the sealant again onto the palette. And what I want to do really is, just by using a cocktail stick, is actually just create the topping. So we've got one that's already got the yellow, which is the Fimo gel mixed with the oil paint. And just as you would and however you want it to be, you just add the sealant, and by using the cocktail stick and just slightly turning your lemon meringue pie by hand, you can just create like a swirly topping basically. So it doesn't have to be too perfect because again we want it to look quite rustic and handmade. If I give that a little swirl. Now the other thing I'd say is when you're actually putting the topping on, whether it be the air drying clay topping there or the sealant, you want to make it thick enough so when it's cut it looks quite realistic. So if you put that to one side, you can see that from our finished lemon meringue here, that it's obviously coloured. We don't just leave the lemon meringue white. And the only way that we get that effect, really simple, is by just using some simple acrylic paints in perhaps an ochre and a burnt umber, just squeezing out a tiny little bit onto a palette, and just by using a sponge applicator we can just, when the sealant has dried very thoroughly, we can just add a little bit of colour to that. So that's great when that's finished. And then the last stage is when your oil paints or your acrylics have all dried, you're going to end up with a nice little lemon meringue pie. And what we want to do is very carefully, so perhaps if you're a little bit unsure about using the scalpel blade, you could perhaps pop a little bit of blue tack or something underneath to hold it secure. Just very carefully cut out a little slice from the lemon meringue, and then you can either pop that in the tin, ready for your doll's house scene, or you can see in this little prep board that all we've done is we've cut a slice from the lemon meringue and then popped it onto a plate and just add some little slices of lemon cane. And here we've got a jar of lemon curd, which very simply could be made using the same mix that you use to make the lemon base. That's the Fimo gel mixed with some oil paint. Put in the jar. Here we've added a little spoon and baked that. So there you go, simple as anything. A really nice little lemon meringue project that you can use to just add a little bit of colour to your doll's house kitchen table. Hope you enjoy having a go at the project yourself. Bye.